I dragged my suitcase to the house of my former arch-nemesis. Facing the closed door, I raised my hand to knock. My strong sense of pride made me want to run away. But the next second, the door opened and Jiang Yi's housekeeper came out. "Miss Miles, I presume? The young master is waiting for you inside." I nodded hastily. Just 3 days ago, my family went bankrupt, owing £1 billion. My former fiancé turned his back on me, marrying my cousin, Lila Jimenez, who had always been competing with me. To pay off the debt, my father sold me to Murray Nelson. The man before me stood in the living room, leaning on a cane, his eyes unfocused. After not seeing him for years, his frame had become much thinner. I spoke with an odd tone. "Murray, what happened to your leg?" He forced a smile. "Car accident." I stared at his eyes. The pupils were gray and lifeless. My breathing became unsteady. "What about your eyes?" "Blind," Murray said matter-of-factly. "Think I'm not as good as your fiancé in this state?" Hearing his sarcastic tone instantly made me feel more at ease. This was more like Murray. "Not at all. I think you're both fine." Now, I couldn't be bothered to speak ill of anyone. Murray let out a meaningful sneer. "Randall, she'll sleep in my room. Go and tidy it up." My face changed slightly. Now, Murray and I were legally married. And regardless of the circumstances, there might be physical contact. "What are you spacing out for? Help me to the garden for a walk." I bit my lip. Being dependent on others, and especially on Murray, I could only endure. I supported Murray as we walked outside, not noticing the slight curl of his lips. The garden was full of flowers, even the roses I had casually planted before were still there. The scenery was beautiful, but unfortunately, Murray was blind. "Corrine, I told you long ago that Lehman Presley was no good, but you were too blind to see it." "You're right, I was blind. If this had happened before, I would have definitely argued with Murray. But now I could only agree with him." Murray's face instantly darkened. "Corrine, are you playing at being obedient while secretly defying me?" "No, I wouldn't dare." Murray was silent for a moment before saying, "You don't need to be afraid. Certain people will get what's coming to them sooner or later." I subconsciously thought he was referring to me. Murray suddenly became impatient. "Take me back, then leave. I don't want to see you." My expression twisted for a moment. I really wanted to slap Murray. Murray was blind, yet he didn't want to see me. Was he mad? I couldn't be bothered to argue with him. I stepped forward to support him, but I accidentally lost my balance and almost pulled Murray down. Murray's face turned ashen. "Corrine Miles, are you trying to kill me?" "I wouldn't dare. You're my long-term meal ticket." "I'm so sorry. I guess I'm the blind one who can't see clearly." Murray paused. "Randall, come here." Hearing Murray's call, the butler upstairs immediately ran down. I stepped aside, watching as the butler supported him as they walked away. I sighed inwardly. How difficult to serve. All afternoon, I didn't go upstairs. Murray was angry again for some reason. He smashed many things upstairs and scolded many people. I rested my chin on my hand, listening boredly, and even feeling a bit drowsy. I fell asleep in a daze. Murray and I had been at odds since childhood, and our mutual friends all complained. One slight mistake would anger either me or Murray. Until high school, when I met Lehman. The nature of our rivalry changed. Murray began to target Lehman, and I couldn't stand it. I unilaterally became angry with Murray. But every time, Murray would give me the cold shoulder, not responding. I hated it most when the other person didn't respond during an argument. It made me angrier than if they argued back. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed Murray's collar and started questioning him. "Why do you have such a big problem with Lehman? Don't you know this will make things difficult for him at school?" Lehman was the illegitimate son recently found by the Presley family, naturally arousing much curiosity and even more contempt. "He has impure intentions towards you." "Are you blind?" I angrily flicked his forehead several times. Murray covered his head, growling, "Corrine Miles. You can't tell good from bad. You'll regret this someday. Murray targeted Lehman even more. I expressed my dissatisfaction. But Murray couldn't be bothered to pay attention to me. Only now do I realize how strong Murray's cold violence was. He wouldn't let me be nice to Lehman, so I insisted on being nice to him. Lehman was considerate, spoke well, and never held grudges. He even advised me not to argue with Murray, saying it was because of his background that Murray didn't like him. Murray overheard this and immediately punched Lehman. The two started fighting, or rather, Lehman was being beaten one-sidedly. I hurriedly tried to pull Murray away. He just gave me a cold look and let go of Lehman. Murray was given a demerit. Even though the one who hit someone was punished, I wasn't happy at all. My relationship with Murray became even worse. He ignored me, only opening his mouth to mock and ridicule me. His words were all about how bad Lehman was. I didn't understand what Lehman had done to offend Murray so much. Unable to hold back, I got into an argument with Murray for Lehman's sake. All our mutual friends knew that I had fallen out with Murray because of Lehman. Murray left for another country without telling me. It was his sister who informed me. And by the time I rushed to the airport, he was already gone. Later, when I started university, I encountered Lehman again. I hadn't expected we'd end up at the same university. It felt like quite a coincidence. In our third year, Lehman and I got together. After graduation, to avoid the arranged dates my father had planned for me, I got engaged to Lehman. Of course, Murray didn't attend my engagement party. To be honest, I felt somewhat hurt. I buried this hurt deep in my heart, in my bones. And as time passed, it became increasingly difficult to express. The initial desire to confront Murray gradually faded into calm. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself lying in Murray's bed. Just as I was about to get up, I heard a sarcastic voice near my ear. "Corrine, are you sleeping downstairs to make everyone think I'm mistreating you?" My brow furrowed, but my tone was placating. Of course not. The Nelson family taking me in is already an act of great kindness. As soon as I finished speaking, Murray's expression worsened. I was at a loss for words. If he disliked me so much, why did he marry me? It seemed like he was just making things difficult for himself. What's wrong? Are you angry again? I couldn't suppress my curiosity and asked. Murray's expression finally improved a bit. Seeing him silent, I glanced at his legs. Or do you need the loo? Do you want me to help? I regretted it as soon as I said it. The current Murray wasn't the same as before. In the past, I could tease him so freely. Now he just loses his temper with me for no reason. Sure enough, Murray was both embarrassed and angry. His face turned red with rage. "Corrine Miles. Who gave you permission to talk like that?" Murray struggled to walk away using his crutches. And I didn't dare utter a single word the entire time. When it was time for dinner, the butler called me downstairs to eat. I casually responded. At the dinner table, I didn't see Murray. I didn't ask where he was. After dinner, just as I entered the room, I saw Murray sitting on the bed, taking off his clothes. I leaned against the doorframe, shamelessly admiring his physique, knowing he couldn't see me due to his blindness. Murray had a great body, with obvious signs of exercise. It seemed that even though he was disabled, he hadn't given up on working out. Still as vain as ever. In the past, every time he came out of the gym, he'd send me photos of his abs, wanting me to admire his good physique. Murray seemed to sense my presence. His movements paused briefly as he was undressing. I walked in naturally. "Do you need help?" I thought Murray would refuse, but he didn't. He lowered his hands, indicating for me to help him undress. I naturally took off his shirt, followed by his trousers. I had been prepared for this day, so there was nothing to be shy about. However, Murray spoke up. "Corrine, are you playing the victim?" I was utterly confused. How was I playing the victim now? I couldn't be bothered to decipher Murray's psychological state. So I simply unzipped his trousers. I clearly noticed Murray's breath catch for a moment. With one hand, I lifted Murray up forcefully, taking the opportunity to remove his trousers. It all happened incredibly quickly. Murray's mouth moved slightly, as if he wanted to say something. But for some reason, he closed it again. Do you want to take a bath? I can carry you over. What did you say? Murray's tone was somewhat peculiar. I knew Murray was a neat freak, uncomfortable if he didn't bathe daily. I simply picked Murray up. All those years of working out hadn't been in vain. He was really heavy, but fortunately, it was just a few steps. Murray's hand veins bulged, his body taut as a bowstring. He barely managed to hold on until we reached the bathroom. I put him in the bathtub and reached to remove his underwear. He instinctively grabbed my hand. What are you doing? I remained composed. Do you want to bathe with them on? Murray's chest heaved violently, but his hands let go, and he turned his face away. I raised an eyebrow and quickly removed my knickers, taking a serious look before saying, "Not bad." Murray's expression was one of disbelief, a blush spreading from his neck to his chest. Not bad? Murray's voice raised slightly. Just not bad? I blinked, wondering if a compliment wasn't enough. Murray became agitated. How much better could Lehman possibly be? I couldn't understand why he was bringing up Lehman. What's the matter now? I asked. In just one day, Murray's emotions had become a roller coaster. I seriously doubted whether we could continue like this in the days to come. Get out, he shouted. Without hesitation, I turned and left. Thinking about it carefully, it was normal for patients to have mood swings, especially when going from being healthy to disabled. Bring me my crutches, he called out. I obediently placed the crutches next to the bathtub, then waited patiently on the bed for Murray. I hadn't brought anything else for Murray. He always asked me to bring things in when he needed them. After a while, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find the maid. She smiled and said, "The young master is in a bad mood and hasn't eaten dinner. Could you take this in for him?" I nodded, realizing that Murray hadn't eaten because of his mood. I placed the tray on the table and waited for a long time. But there was no sound from inside. Worried that Murray, with his limited mobility, might have had an accident, I carefully opened the bathroom door. I saw Murray with a strained expression. His cheeks flushed, as if he was suppressing something. He was calling out someone's name. Kareen. My heart skipped a beat, and I instinctively wanted to find out what he was doing. I leaned in to look, but my foot slipped, and the bathroom door swung open. Through the steam, I finally saw what was happening inside. Murray was clutching a photograph, and my sharp eyes noticed it was a picture of me. Murray was pleasuring himself with my photo. He was lying in the bathtub, his hair wet from the hot water and clinging to his cheeks. The desire in his eyes hadn't faded, making him look particularly haggard. The air suddenly froze. I quietly stepped back, pretending I hadn't been there. Murray was blind, so he certainly couldn't see me. For some reason, I waved my hand in front of Murray's face. His expression remained unchanged, and even his hand movements didn't stop. How perverted! I was puzzled. Was Murray really that desperate? He couldn't even see my photo, yet he was so engrossed. I quietly closed the door, my mind in turmoil. My head was full of questions. Why was Murray secretly doing this with my photo? I slapped my face hard, my heart pounding. Suddenly, from inside came a shout, "Kareen! Bring me a towel!" I cleared my throat and walked in with a towel, trying to maintain a neutral expression. Upon closer inspection, my face was slightly flushed. I found myself oddly grateful that Murray couldn't see. Murray had already finished washing, seemingly accustomed to his life without sight and with limited mobility. I felt a pang in my heart, remembering how proud he used to be. Now, anyone could witness his vulnerability. I helped dry Murray's hair as he struggled to stand, leaning on my shoulder. It wasn't as difficult as I had imagined. I realized his legs could still bear some weight. Once seated, I abruptly asked, "Will your legs get better?" "I don't know," Murray replied indifferently, as if he couldn't care less. Suppressing my emotions, I helped him out. "You should eat now." The maid brought food. "No." I frowned. "What's the matter now? If you don't eat, I won't help you dress." At this point, Murray was practically naked, with only a towel around him. Without help, he truly couldn't put on his pajamas. Murray conceded, holding out his hand. I thought he wanted the cutlery, but instead, I heard, "Feed me." I restrained myself. Over the next few days, I felt my patience wearing thin with Murray's demands. It took all my willpower not to lash out at him. He needs me to read to him, dress him, feed him, and help him tie the chain when he goes to the toilet. Thankfully, he didn't ask me to hold anything there. Otherwise, I genuinely couldn't have kept a straight face. Lately, I found myself constantly observing Murray, almost subconsciously. I leaned against the doorframe, watching him work with various assistive devices around him. After a while, Murray closed his laptop and pulled out a photo from the drawer. I nearly choked when I saw it. I silently moved closer, not making a sound. As I suspected, it was still my photo. This was the second time I'd caught him. Looking at the daylight outside and the wide-open door, I couldn't believe Murray would do this in broad daylight. It was as if Murray heard my thoughts. His fingers turned the photo, then reached for his trouser zip. Murray had the nerve to do it, but I didn't have the nerve to watch. Frightened, I fled, accidentally bumping into a chair, causing a sharp scraping sound. Murray jerked his head up. I didn't look closely, just turned and ran. I didn't bother hiding anymore, slamming the door behind me. I rushed downstairs in a panic, my mind blank. The passing staff tried to ask what was wrong, but I ignored them all. However, just as I was about to leave the house, I felt arms wrap around my waist. A familiar scent enveloped me. Shocked, I suddenly realized something. I spun around, facing Murray's eyes. Murray still held me, his voice panicked. "Karine, you lied to me?" I looked at Murray's perfectly fine legs, my eyes instantly reddening with anger. Murray's legs weren't disabled, his eyes weren't blind. From the beginning, Murray could see me. Furious, I raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face. Murray turned his head, his expression seeming to savor the moment. Yes, that's the flavor. My expression was indescribable, growing even more horrified. I felt as if I'd slapped him, and he'd licked me in return. I begged Murray to go back to how he used to be. "Listen to me explain," Murray pleaded. I struggled fiercely, trying to break free from his grip. Ignoring my protests, Murray hoisted me over his shoulder. The maid passing by looked on with concern. Murray tossed me onto the bed, placing his hands on either side of me. I slapped him across the face again. Murray's expression remained unchanged. I even wondered if he enjoyed being hit. "Listen to me explain," Murray said softly. I slowly widened my eyes, my heart rate returning to normal. Why would Murray lie to me? What reason could he have? And how could he shamelessly do such things in front of me? He's truly mad. I just wanted you to be your old self again. I didn't mean to scare you away. I breathed heavily. Why did you do those things with my photo? The first time was because I thought you wouldn't come in. I couldn't help myself, and you were doing those things to me, taking off my clothes. I held back my frustration. How could he blame me for that? The second time, I just wanted to give you a fright. Last time you saw me like that, you didn't react at all. It really hurt me. Murray couldn't bear the thought of the person he liked being indifferent towards him. I found it unbelievable and quickly pushed him away in shock. Why do you like me? A flash of embarrassment crossed Murray's eyes. What? Lehman can like you, but I can't? I stood on the bed, my expression bewildered. Why did he bring up Lehman again? Then why did you lie to me about your leg being injured and being blind? Murray said quietly, I was really ill before, but I got better later. I suddenly thought of the years when Murray had disappeared without a trace. Was Murray recovering during those years? More than resentment, I felt sympathy. But forgiving Murray just like that would make me seem too easygoing. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Murray's tone became urgent. Karine, can't you be a bit nicer to me? Just like before. Like before? Wasn't our relationship even worse then? I looked at Murray's handsome face and raised my hand to pat his cheek experimentally. It wasn't hard, but it was very humiliating for someone who cared about their image, like patting a pet. Murray, however, looked quite content. Murray! I couldn't help but call out his name. Yes, I'm here. Wipe that expression off your face. Murray obediently flattened his smile. I finally understood what Murray meant by like before. Is this what he calls being nice? Does Murray have some sort of masochistic tendency? Murray spoke calmly. Karine, just be yourself. You don't need to please others. He had pretended to be ill and deliberately acted peculiar to make Karine unable to stand it, hoping she would be unrestrained with him like before. But instead, he saw her suppress her true nature and try to please him. Murray had never seen her like this before. He instantly realized he had used the wrong approach, and this would only drive her further away. He had made a mistake once, he couldn't make the same mistake again. There was nothing too embarrassing to admit. So he simply decided to come clean and reveal everything himself. Hearing Murray's words, I felt uncomfortable. I haven't changed. I've always been myself. Murray touched my nose. Nonsense. You're the arrogant Miss Miles. I felt a pang in my heart. I'm not that arrogant, am I? I'm not Miss Miles anymore. When it comes to benefits, I could be sold out at any time. Murray said softly, with me here, you can always be arrogant. I was stunned for a moment before saying, are you stupid or something? I can't help it. I just can't let you go, Murray replied. Murray had tried to move on, but he couldn't. He couldn't bear to watch Karine walk towards someone else and get engaged to Lehman. So he came back from abroad, only to get into a car accident. It took him 2 years to recover fully. I only learned then that Murray had intended to take me away at my engagement party, regardless of whether he was injured or not. But he gave up. He thought as long as I was happy, it was fine, even if Lehman had ill intentions. He didn't dare to presumptuously ruin my happiness. What if Lehman truly treated me well? In the end, Lehman abandoned me and chose Lila instead. For me, it was a huge humiliation. Even if Lehman had just broken off our engagement without marrying someone else, it wouldn't have caused such an impact. Now you see Lehman's true colors, don't you? When trouble comes, it's every man for himself. He even kicked you when you were down, Murray said. I chuckled, that's normal. It's just human nature. £1 billion is no small sum, and why should he help someone in poverty anyway? Murray's tone turned harsh. You helped him so much in the past. Besides, $1 billion isn't much for the Presley family. I indeed helped Lehman a lot, which was invaluable. The Presley family had many illegitimate children, with old Mr. Presley alone having married 4 wives. I pitied Lehman for not having a mother, just like me. I helped him integrate into our social circle and gain old Mr. Presley's favor and trust. These things were worth several times more than £1 billion. Murray, in this world, why should people necessarily help you? Apart from yourself, any support or reliance you think you have will eventually abandon you. I used to think my father loved me and would sacrifice everything for me like other fathers. But it wasn't the case. He abandoned me decisively when it mattered most. I won't abandon you, Murray declared solemnly, but I felt alarmed and didn't dare to respond. I instinctively looked away, saying without much confidence, you're just saying that now. Murray didn't continue with his promises. Instead, he picked me up from the bed with one arm. Can you be like before? He asked. I blinked at him, and Murray spoke again. I'm really not used to you trying to please me. I angrily tapped his head. It was only because I was dependent on others now. If it weren't for the Nelson family helping the Miles family repay the £1 billion, I wouldn't have to be so cautious. Murray chuckled, that's more like it. If you're upset with me, just hit me directly. I took a deep breath, secretly questioning in my heart if Murray was a masochist. After thinking for a moment, I hit Murray again. Murray's smile grew wider. Since learning that Murray was all right, the weight in my heart had completely lifted. After being subservient for a few days, I couldn't help but start acting like a boss again. Murray! I called out. Murray turned to look at me, and I grinned mischievously. Yes, this is you. Murray eagerly ran to me. What is it? Cut an orange for me. Murray obediently cut an orange for me. His skill was impeccable, and he fed it to me just like when we were children. For some reason, bossing Murray around now gave me more joy than it did in the past. At that moment, I received a phone call. It was from Lila, and suddenly the orange in my mouth lost its appeal. Karine, it's my birthday the day after tomorrow. Are you coming? You didn't come to my wedding, but you can't miss my birthday, can you? If you don't come, it would be quite disrespectful to me, wouldn't it? Lila was incredibly arrogant, eager to see me grovel. All right, I'll be there. Lila's voice lifted slightly. Karine, you'd never guess that Lehman and I are together now. To be honest, we've been intimate for a long time. I truly hadn't expected them to hook up. I hadn't noticed a thing. Lehman said I'm the one he truly loves. He's been fed up with your posh attitude for ages. How dare you think he'd marry you? Look at yourself, you're not even in his league anymore. Murray, standing beside me, frowned deeply. He snatched the phone, his tone even. You think just anything can be with Karine? This toad, you can have him if you want, but Karine might not want him. Murray angrily hung up the phone. I sighed. Why are you getting upset with her? She's getting too cocky. Why didn't you tell her off? My cousin Lila's mother had divorced my uncle, then remarried. Her new husband had climbed the ranks in the civil service, which made Lila become arrogant. I guessed Lehman was marrying Lila because of her stepfather. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Scolding her won't hurt her, I said. Murray patted my head. You've changed. You used to want to destroy anyone who offended you. Did I? Yes, I just ate your cake once, and you stole my breakfast every day after that. I averted my eyes. That's ancient history. I still went to Lila's birthday party, with Murray insisting on coming along. He was worried others might bully me, which I found ridiculous. To be honest, I've never felt bullied by anyone. Not when my dad sold me off, nor when Lehman turned around and married Lila. I didn't think much of it. But Murray didn't see it that way. He thought I'd suffered terribly when he wasn't around. Lila's birthday bash was as grand as a wedding. Lila spotted us as soon as Murray and I arrived together. She came over with her entourage. Oh my, sis, didn't you and Mr. Nelson break up? How are you together again? Is it because the Miles family owes a lot of money? How could someone as proud as you stoop so low to beg others? As soon as she finished, the surrounding crowd snickered. I glanced at Murray. His eyes were filled with anger, but his face remained calm as he said, When has Karine ever begged anyone? She's my wife. My money is hers. There's no need to even mention paying off debts. Life has its ups and downs. I don't believe Miss Jimenez will always be on top. Lila's face darkened. Suddenly realizing the male voice that had scolded her on the phone was Murray's. Karine! Is what he said true? Lehman rushed over. Lehman, whom I hadn't seen in days, still looked dashing. Facing him, I thought I'd be angry, but I wasn't. Yes, Murray and I are married. Lehman's expression soured for a moment. Are you really that desperate? You'd do anything for money, wouldn't you? Lehman said this without even a hint of a smile. How dare he say such things? Did you marry Lila purely for true love? I asked. Lehman was stumped by my question. He hesitated, and Lila quickly chimed in, Of course we're in love. Sis, don't blame Lehman. It was all because of me that he left you. The love of the other woman is truly beautiful, I said, clapping sarcastically. Didn't Lila say they'd been together for a long time? If that's not being the other woman, what is? Lila's expression twisted as she shouted, Karine Miles. You witch! Murray's reaction was even stronger than mine. You're the witch! Who are you calling names? I was stunned, not expecting Murray to swear. Lila's chest heaved rapidly. She could insult Karine, but not Murray. Lehman pulled Lila behind him, shielding her. Mr. Nelson, welcome to my wife's birthday party. She spoke without thinking just now. Murray sneered. If you can't speak properly, perhaps you should have your tongue removed. Lehman took a deep breath. Mr. Nelson surely has a wicked sense of humor. Murray wasn't joking, I thought to myself. I was certain Murray was capable of actually ripping someone's tongue out. He wasn't as agreeable behind closed doors as he appeared on the surface. Otherwise, he wouldn't have targeted Lehman so much in high school. The atmosphere grew tense as Lehman struggled to maintain his composure. "I apologize, Lila was out of line," he said. Lila looked displeased. She had married into the Presley family, yet still had to lower herself like this. Murray didn't pursue the matter further. He took my hand and led me to a secluded spot, paying no mind to anyone else. I kicked him lightly. "Why were you so harsh on Lehman back then? He was using you. Couldn't you see that?" Murray truly despised people with ulterior motives, especially those who took advantage of those close to him. I honestly hadn't noticed Lehman using me before. "Corrine, sometimes I really want to open up your head and take a look inside. How pitiful could an illegitimate son of the Presley family be? At worst, he could take some money and leave, staying away from all the drama." I punched Murray's arm a couple of times. "Don't insult me." Murray sighed softly. "Corine, there are too many pitiful people in this world. Someone like Lehman doesn't need your help." It was too late to say this now. Lehman and I no longer had any connection. "I'm sorry." I mumbled, "It's all my fault. I assumed too much, didn't I?" Apologizing felt so foreign to me. "When I talk to you, do you ever actually listen? Just be yourself, you don't need to apologize. Just keep being your bold and unrestrained self." It sounded like he was being sarcastic. I took a deep breath, glared at Murray, and couldn't help but punch him several times. Murray really knew how to push my buttons. Murray looked down at me. "I'm the one who should apologize. If I hadn't realized I had feelings for you and let my awkwardness keep me from speaking up. Even if I had just softened my attitude a bit, we wouldn't be in this situation. We wouldn't have wasted several years like this." Murray thought carefully. Even if he had made the first move, even if he had swallowed his pride, what difference would it have made? It's not like he would have lost anything. I huffed. "It was your fault to begin with. You were so inexplicably difficult back then, not only hot-tempered but also violent. Who could tolerate a manipulative man? And you believed him." Murray didn't say the last part out loud. He couldn't be bothered. It was all in the past anyway. I fell silent, realizing it was indeed my fault for not communicating with Murray, which had escalated many conflicts. "Corine, love me, will you?" I looked up at him, seeing the seriousness in his expression. I smiled. "We're already married. I won't love anyone but you." The birthday party didn't end perfectly. As Lila was showing off her jeweled necklace, a group of people burst in. Murray turned my head. "Corine, enjoy the show. I told you they'd fall apart sooner or later." Lila's stepfather had been caught embezzling funds, and now they were here to take Lila in for questioning. The party descended into chaos, with everyone talking over each other. Most were just there to watch the spectacle, few genuinely concerned for Lila. Lehman tried to intervene but was also taken away for investigation. A few days later, several new articles appeared online, all about the Presley family and Lila's stepfather. Lehman and Lila got divorced, shockingly fast. I found Lehman quite perplexing. Surely he didn't need to cut ties so quickly. Even if they had to divorce, couldn't they have waited a while? At least until the storm had blown over? It's normal. When disaster strikes, it's every man for himself. This isn't the first time he's done this, Murray said, never missing a chance to badmouth Lehman. Will he really be in the clear just by distancing himself? I asked. He's in trouble. He gave bribes, Murray replied. I looked up. How do you know? I personally submitted the evidence. These days, investigations are very thorough. Do you think Lila's dad could afford a Bentley on his salary? Even a child could figure out that's impossible. I couldn't help but laugh. Poor Lehman. He had just gotten married, just made those connections, and now his father-in-law was in trouble. Not long after, Lehman was dismissed from his position, replaced by some third brother who appeared out of nowhere. Another illegitimate son of old Mr. Presley. The ones born in the family were useless, always plotting and scheming. Outsiders speculated that the old man had given up on his own family. and was looking for an heir elsewhere. I thought I wouldn't have any more interactions with Lehman after this. But to my surprise, he came to find me. At the time, I was ordering a custom cake for Murray. The day after tomorrow was his birthday, and we were celebrating just the two of us. Kareen, long time no see. How have you been? Lehman asked. Pretty good, certainly better than you, I replied honestly. Life couldn't be more comfortable. Every time I bossed Murray around, I felt incredibly smug. Lehman's face stiffened for a moment, but he continued with a smile. Kareen, I still love you. Can we go back to how we were before? Hearing this, I thought I must have misheard. Lehman really could say anything. I truly love you. Marrying Lila wasn't my intention. It was my father. He insisted I marry her, thinking she could help me. I instinctively stepped back, raising my hand to stop him from coming closer. Whatever your situation is, it has nothing to do with me, I said. We're over. Please don't try to entangle me again. Lehman's eyes were red, filled with deep emotion. Kareen, I really know I was wrong. I have nothing now. We can start over. Will you leave Murray? He must be taking advantage of your debt to force you, right? You don't really like him, do you? The more Lehman spoke, the more absurd I found it. Suddenly, Murray ominously patted Lehman's shoulder. Lehman instinctively turned around, and Murray raised his hand and punched him hard. Almost instantly, Lehman's eye socket turned blue. Lehman covered his face and shouted, Murray. Have you gone mad? Murray's face was extremely dark as he grabbed Lehman's collar. In the past, you talked nonsense because I was too stupid to find a way to deal with you, Murray growled. Now, do you think your words will have any effect on me? Lehman forced a smile. Then why are you so agitated? The person you love used to love me. That's a fact. Murray tightened his grip on Lehman's neck, almost choking him. I walked over and tapped Murray, and he immediately released Lehman. Lehman looked smug for a moment, but he wouldn't be smiling for long. Lehman, do you want to make your life even more miserable? The Presley family doesn't need you. Don't end up losing your comfortable life altogether, I warned. Want to bet whether I can make old Mr. Presley abandon you completely? Lehman's face tensed. Why are you being so cruel? You weren't like this before. Why should I be magnanimous towards you? From the moment we broke off our engagement and you married Lila, we had no relationship whatsoever. Lehman held back his anger, his eyes completely red. So you don't love me anymore? No, I don't. I wouldn't love someone like you. Lehman laughed self-mockingly. Fine, but one thing I said is true. I really do regret it. All his scheming and calculations, abandoning everything. And in the end, he was left with nothing. If I had married you back then, would we have ended up like this? There are no ifs. Now, I'm quite glad Lehman didn't marry me. If he had, I would have lived my entire life in the shadow of owing Lehman something. He would have brought it up for the rest of our lives. Us breaking up was only a matter of time, because this is who you are, I said. Always analyzing pros and cons, meticulously cultivating his career. Murray took my hand, smugly leading me away from there. Once in the car, Murray couldn't help but burst into laughter. I turned my head to look at him, and Murray's eyes were filled with mirth. Kareen, I love you so much. Thank you for loving me and standing by my side. I smiled. Is it so strange to love you? Not strange at all.